When I was diagnosed with MS in 2017, I was diagnosed in January, and by March I was the heaviest I'd ever been. And so I had also lost my ability to walk without a cane or some sort of assisted device. And so at that point, that's when I kind of decided, like, I'm not going to take that mobility for granted, and I'm going to choose to run. I felt pretty good about this week with the training plan that we get with our coach and all of the advice from previous runners. I felt pretty strong until I developed some bronchitis just a week before, and that made me a little bit more nervous, but getting back out here and actually starting the run took care of those nerves pretty quickly. This week was rough. I started the first 3 days with GI problems that I've never dealt with before while running.
So on Shane's first day, he dealt with a lot of hills and some heat, and by the end of the day, he was feeling pretty nauseous, struggled to get some food down, and then on the second and third day, his nausea continued, and he just was completely unappetized by all food. He tried everything to ease his nausea, from Tums to sipping on water and everything, and at one day he just had ice cream for dinner because that's the only thing that sounded good to him. Ultimately, I think it might be because of just under-fueling.
What I overcame this week is, I guess, mainly the stomach issue was a big part of it, but then just kind of dealing with that mentally, of figuring out how to fix that problem and kind of move on with the rest of the event.
Having an endless cycle of not having enough food, but then being so hungry that you're nauseous. And so once he took some Zofran, he was able to regain his appetite and his energy and overcome that nausea.
The whole thing was just something that I've never dealt with before, so it was very challenging to kind of go blindly into the unknown and figure out what works and what wasn't working, and ultimately just kind of nailing that down so that we can get back on the road. Like, most of the time when you're doing long endurance events, your body will give out, but your brain is like still somewhat there. And that was similar to what I had. It was just so frustrating because, like, I wanted to run, but I just couldn't get the fuel I needed to do that. I learned that I should have trained for more hills, both up and down, than what was recommended on my training plan, I think. And I should have looked at the elevation plots a little bit closer, I think, for my segment compared to what I actually trained or planned for. And like, I trained for elevation, but the elevation here is a lot more like straight up or vertical, where the elevation that I trained on was more like gradual climbs. The thing I would say that surprised me the most was how well I slept in the RV. I really did not expect to be able to sleep well in an RV, but it was shockingly comfortable, and I slept very well whenever I was there. All of the people that have like stopped or honked or donated to us while we're out here running, that was another kind of surprising aspect that I wasn't really expecting. I just wasn't expecting them to actively stop and ask, like, hey, what are you doing? And then make a donation right on the spot. So that was really cool to see that impact. The feeling of support coming from people in my home state for a cause that might not be affected directly by MS, their willingness to just yell out the window and tell you to keep going, keep pushing through it, that's been pretty awesome.
You're welcome.
My wife is here all week with me. It's been awesome being able to have somebody that can run with me every day. And my parents have been here the entire week as well, supporting me, running errands and getting things that we might need or might not need. But just trying to be as helpful as possible. And then my brother and sister-in-law are coming up tomorrow to run with me as well. So I think awareness is probably the most important, because you can't, without the awareness of what the disease is or who's affected by it, you can't know where to help. And without kind of like showing people like, yes, we might be able to run long distances even with an MS diagnosis. It doesn't mean everyone is, and other people may have additional needs outside of what we have.